Howdy folks, this is Big Sam. Some of y'all have probably heard the term Christmas miracle before, or maybe some of y'all have experienced one. Well, here on the channel, we recently experienced what I would call a Mosin Christmas miracle. What do I mean by that? Well, in order to explain what I mean by this, we first need to know what this thing here is. This is a barreled action for a 1944 Izhevsk 9130 PU Sniper. We can see here the holes drilled, and these ones are tapped for the screws for that PU scope base that would attach the receiver right here. Now, this is a interesting thing because this is something I came across about a year and a half ago. And in fact, I kind of got it just like this. And it's funny because this actually came with the rather nasty import tag. And if we look at this, we can get some really interesting info on it. And we can see here, this is Rifle Russian 9130, 7.62 by 54R. That makes sense. But here it says BBL REC Mosin Nagant, drilled tapped 4. And then, I don't know, nothing else apparently. But then it says the serial number here, which is MN1715. And we can see this is MN1715. Now, this is important because, as we can see here, this is how I came across the rifle as just this barreled action. I mean, it's even missing the sight base here. So, like, very bare bones, but this is an original PU sniper rifle. And this is actually probably from Yugoslavia because if we look at the import markings here, the end of the barrel, you can see here that this says Samco. Kind of hard to see. It says Samco, Miami, Florida, which makes sense because Samco imported the PU sniper rifle batch from the Yugoslavia region. Of course, Yugoslavia doesn't exist anymore, but Yugoslavia had these PU sniper rifles. And this is also interesting because most of the PU sniper rifles that Samco imported were complete guns minus the scope and scope base. But, you know, they had the stock and the bolt and even a rear sight. Imagine that. Pretty complete guns. This one's weird because it didn't have any of that. And from this tag, it appears it was imported as a barreled receiver right here. And of course, we know this is the one we're talking about because it's got the serial number here. And you can also see down here, it's got the import date, Samco, what that is, it says Samco, July 12th, 2016, and this would be 4:23 p.m. So it looks like this was probably imported back in 2016 as a barreled receiver. Okay, now what is the miracle here? Because this thing's kind of interesting, but I don't see a miracle here so far. Well, it's a good question. And in fact, remember I said this is how the rifle came. And one of the things I've been looking for, you'll notice I haven't actually assembled any of this thing yet. I've been trying to find a stock for this. You know, you can go ahead and kind of make your own PU stock. You just have to have the proper cutout in the stock. It's kind of hard to do if you've never done it, and I'm not big into woodworking, and I'm not very experienced in that, and I prefer to just find a correct stock. Now, sometimes you can come across a refurbished stock that was cut for a PU. The problem is that refurbished stocks aren't really correct for these guns because these were not part of the Russians or Soviet Union's, I guess you would say, inventory. And during like the Cold War, that was part of that whole refurbishment process. These guns were not refurbished, at least in the way that the ones that we have here in America were refurbished. That, you know, were imported from the Soviet Union and the Ukraine and all those places in the masses. These are not the standard refurbished 9130 rifles we see. One of the reasons these things are actually really interesting. So I kind of wanted a stock that was correct for this gun. That's really hard to find. And it's a 1944 EZF, so you'd really want the Type 3 pattern post-war escutcheons as well. Well, rambling aside, I managed to come across a stock that I thought would be good for one of these guys. In fact, Apex Gun Parts was selling one. I saw this back probably early December, I think, and I had mentioned it to someone. I didn't buy it, but I had mentioned it to someone that'd be really cool stock, and it looks, just from looking at it, like it would be a good stock for this gun. Looked like it would be a good project, like it would be a good fit. Well, lo and behold, this person actually ended up buying me that stock for Christmas. I'm really thankful for that. That was an awesome Christmas present. So big thanks to them. So I went ahead and I wanted to see what the serial number on the butt plate was, because I wanted to see how close it was to the serial number on this guy. Remember, this is MN1715. Now here it says MH1715. That's because H is actually, this is a Russian serial number. Remember, this gun was made in Russia. So H is actually a Cyrillic character, not a Latin character. It's basically the Cyrillic equivalent of N, as in November, in, you know, something like the English language, for instance. So it's really MN1715. That's why it says that there, and that's why it said that here on the import tag, MN1715. Well, here's the stock I got. Let me move this guy out of the way here. Oh. All right, now see, this is really nice. It's kind of dirty, but it has those proper escutcheons, and this is not a standard refurbished stock. This actually looks pretty unrefurbished. It's got a lot of dirt, grime on it, exactly what you want to see. And this is why I was excited about this stock. Well, I go to see, just sort of try to test fit this to the stock, and lo and behold, I look at the serial number of the stock here, and it's MN1715. And I couldn't believe it. That is the exact serial number of this gun, MN1715. So we somehow managed to actually find not a correct stock for this barreled action, but the correct stock for this barreled action. I did not get these from the same place, and I didn't, you know, just make this story up. And one of the ways you know I didn't make this story up is I'll actually post a link to the page at Apex Gun Parts where they still have the listing for this. It's sold, but they keep sold listings on their website. So you can actually go take a look at this stock, and you'll be able to actually tell it is, in fact, this stock. So again, I bought this. This came totally separate from the barreled action. And what's also weird is they actually have several more of these stocks that are cracked. This one is not cracked. The one they happen to have that was in nice shape was the one that the one that happened to match the gun we had. I mean, the odds of this are not good. So this is what I would call a Mosin Christmas miracle. And for any of y'all that are, you know, wondering, hey, is it even remotely possible to find, like, you know, a long-lost missing serialized part for your gun? It is. It's not likely, but here's proof that it actually is possible, especially if you keep your eyes out for the right kind of part. And anytime you see a listing, either in person or, you know, on the internet, you know, make sure to take a look at the serial number, see if it matches your gun, because as silly as that sounds and as unlikely as it sounds, well, in this case, it turned out to actually happen. So now we actually found the original long-lost stock to this 1944 PU Sniper. So looks like, folks, we got another project here on the channel. If you want to see this gun finished back in its original stock, with the PU scope and the bolt all ready to go, and you want to see us actually shoot this gun here on the channel, make sure to go like and subscribe down below, because I think that would be pretty strange and crazy, and it just, let's face it, this is just a great story. You can't make these kinds of things up, folks. Never in a million years would I would have thought we would have found the exact stock to this gun. Now, you can see here the serial number on the butt plate. The 1 is actually kind of overstamped with the Ijev's triangle right here. So this is actually the Ijev's factory logo. It's kind of overstamped, so it's a little hard to see the 1, but you can clearly see it, especially when you compare it to this one. It's definitely a 1. It's not a 7 here. You can see it's the same font. There's just a little bit of disorientation because it's overstamped with another marking here, but it's MN1715. Probably one of the most insane things that has happened to me since we started this channel, but, well, you know, God works in mysterious ways, so it looks like we're just going to go ahead and kickstart this project, and, well, then I guess the next step is now we got to get a sight base for this. That's going to be fun. I guess we'll be making another video on that. But anyway, I appreciate y'all watching. I hope you enjoyed looking at this crazy story of this 1944 PU Sniper, and its story isn't over yet. And who knows? Right here's the serial number for the scope. Who knows? Maybe we'll find the original scope for this gun. At this point, you know, pretty much nothing would surprise me. So stay tuned, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, make sure to please like and subscribe down below. Let me know if y'all got any prayer requests, and we'll see you next time.